Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You want to know why I'm probably laughing? Well, before we went on this on the on TV night, I was looking through my Twitter feed, and Daddy from New York, somebody I follow, somebody I watch, I enjoy his videos, had a tweet, a picture, a screen capture of another. I'm not going to name him because he doesn't deserve anybody's notoriety. But he talks about CM Punk all the time, and CM Punk is coming back. And his title of his video, I didn't watch the video, but it said Raw moving to Friday night in 2018. Proof leaked. I'm like, this guy is a buffoon. This guy is a buffoon that think that anything he reads about Raw moving to Friday night is a thing, because it's not gonna happen. You're never gonna see Monday Night Raw move from Monday Night Raw. From Monday night, it is Monday Night Raw for a reason. WWE's not gonna go and have Monday Night Raw move to Friday, so they only have 2 days between a pay-per-view and between a Raw and a pay-per-view. That is just the most asinine and stupidest thing I think I ever saw. I'm also laughing because this show tonight was a big dumpster fire. WWE just honestly does not care about their shows, because this just shows what happens when WWE throws their eggs in one basket and then just leaves everything else to be sacrificed, because tonight's show was an absolute wreck from the word go. You ended last week with the women. You started this week's show off with the women. And for the love of motherfucking whatever, will you have Asuka pick up a goddamn mic and say who she's going to wrestle? Are we going to wait till after Fastlane? Because I think that's a little bit too long. She has been the winner of the Royal Rumble, and she hasn't even fucking made her decision yet. You have Michael Cole and Alexa Bliss all pretending like, oh, she's chosen Raw, when she hasn't chosen jack shit. What the fuck is wrong with you, WWE? This is poor fucking booking. Apparently, there's a hashtag tonight going around that was hashtag end 6-woman tag matches. I want them to end multi-person matches completely. Before anything, it's just enough of this. We do not need to see another 6-woman tag match. The women's division is god awful as it is. You just signed quote unquote signed Ronda Rousey last night. Don't believe that she didn't. That was her actual contract. She signed that a while ago, most likely. Probably the end of the Royal Rumble. And you expect us to, and she says, and Ronda Rousey said last night, she wants to be like everybody else on this roster. That is the one thing you don't want to be, Ronda. You want to be different. You want to be special. But if you were treated like each and everyone else on this roster, your badass mystique of yourself will be gone like that. There will not be a single person caring about Ronda Rousey by the time SummerSlam comes around. That's what happens when you are just like everybody else. Asuka is the closest thing we have to something special in WWE still, because of that undefeated streak. Of course, tonight started off with the women, as I said before. And I guess for whatever reason, Mickie James went from battling Absolution with Sasha Banks and Bayley to being a heel again, being all buddy-buddy with Alexa Bliss, just because Alexa Bliss told her what she wanted to hear. This is just garbage, and I don't even know what to say, what they're fucking thinking. We did get a tease of the dissension between Bayley and Sasha Banks. I'll talk about that in a bit. We saw Finn Balor and Seth Rollins throw their names in the hat for the Intercontinental title. Most likely going to be a triple threat match at the pay-per-view, which I am not mad about because I can see those guys. As long as Seth Rollins or Finn Balor comes out on top as your Intercontinental Champion, I'm not mad about that. Of course, Miz said 62 days in him holding the title for 62 more days. He will be the longest reigning combined days Intercontinental Champion, which who really gives a fuck? He's held it, what, 5 times? This means you've lost it 4 other times, or 6 times, or whatever he's held it. I think it's 8. It means you lost it 7 times, and at WrestleMania, you should lose it again. So, the way they had that set up, it pretty much confirms Braun Strowman isn't going to WrestleMania to face The Miz, which I don't know what you do with him then. Him and Elias had a little bit of back and forth here tonight with a somewhat of a match. Titus Worldwide, or as most people call them, Catering Worldwide, were in a 2 out of 3 falls match with The Bar for whatever reason. How many championship opportunities do you get in WWE? They got beat last night. I guess the reason they set that match up was because The Bar ran their mouth on Twitter. Titus O'Neil shot out back, and Kurt Angle was like, "That's it, enough is enough. You guys are going to have a 2 out of 3 falls match," which they did tonight. And then, of course, they closed the show with Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle needing to apologize. And Stephanie McMahon did sound like a whiny little bitch at the end. But, of course, Triple H had to get the last shot in. We'll talk about that later. We were supposed to have a face-to-face between Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and we'll get into that later. John Cena also came out and addressed his road to WrestleMania, since him going to face Brock Lesnar will not be happening. That is going to get interesting, and I'll have a scathing problem with what I know, and I've known, and it's felt like since the night after Royal Rumble that this is probably where they were going to go, and it's going to make me sick that they're even going to do this. Alexa Bliss is out here with Mickie James. She does open the show. Again, will these jackasses on commentary, the announcers backstage, anybody, she has not decided who she's going to wrestle. Now, I know they're waiting until after Fastlane. She's going to have a match next week with Nia Jax again. Asuka was your Royal Rumble winner, and she hasn't decided yet. The night of the Royal Rumble, Shinsuke Nakamura was asked who's wrestling. He said AJ Styles. So he got to choose who he's going to wrestle. Why are they implying that Asuka didn't get a choice? She's going to face Alexa Bliss. Somebody back in the back, look at your fucking notes when you're writing this fucking show and realize that she hasn't decided who she's fucking wrestling yet. This is a fucking annoying. When Asuka, hopefully next week after her match with Nia Jax, that is it. She'll go to SmackDown and they'll say that. If not, she's probably going to show up at Fastlane to challenge the winner of Ruby Riott versus Charlotte, which we'll get into on the preview and predictions next week for Fastlane. Just so annoying. Here is Alexa Bliss with Mickie James, who gloats about her win at the Elimination Chamber.
You have no idea how amazing it feels to know that I retained my Raw Women's Championship by winning the historic first ever Women's Elimination Chamber match. Not only did I defy the odds, but I set the new standard to what it means to be Raw Women's Champion. The WWE Universe is going to be talking about me and my victories for the next 10, 20, 50 years from now. One day, they will say that on February 25th, 2018 was the day Alexa Bliss changed the game. Then, now, and forever.
I wouldn't say change the game, but she will have the same she will be in the same conversation as Shawn Michaels for winning the first Elimination Chamber of the men or the women. As you know, in 2002, Shawn Michaels won the first Elimination Chamber to win the World Heavyweight Championship from Triple H. In the match, also Triple H crushed his trachea. Trachea was crushed by RVD, but let's not talk about that.
Now, it came down to Sasha and I, the two of us in the Elimination Chamber, but I just capitalized on her worst characteristic. Her massive ego.
Of course they cut all that out.
Sorry, boss. This just isn't your year.
They cut it out, and I don't know why, but she called Bayley a sad situation, and quite honestly, that's been Bayley since she's come up to WWE, up to Monday Night Raw. A sad situation. She came up being touted as the female John Cena, and what have they done with her? Just burial after burial after burial, bad booking after bad booking after bad booking. Hell, she came up after SummerSlam, I believe, 2 years ago, and she was pretty much had the best, like a huge reaction for herself, and they just buried her and made her irrelevant. It's just so annoying to see that. But yes, when she called Bayley a sad situation, which she did, I have to agree with her because somebody in the back does not like Bayley, plain and simple. Asuka comes out after she runs down everybody else, Absolution and Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. She says they have a lot of potential, but not while she is the women's champion.
I came to Monday Night Raw, it became my year, which is why I'm going to WrestleMania.
Unfortunately.
I've always wanted to do that. Yeah, a little point. I've always wanted to do that. Feels good. Feels good, but you know, that doesn't even compare to the feeling I'm gonna feel 6 weeks from now at WrestleMania when I break Asuka's streak.
I've already said it once, I'll say it again. Asuka hasn't decided who she's wrestling, so the fact that they keep pushing it as Asuka versus Alexa Bliss, they need to get that garbage out of here. You should have the commentators on Raw and the commentators on SmackDown when the women's champion is on the show talking about, hey, Asuka hasn't made her choice yet. Maybe Asuka will be here on Raw. Maybe Asuka will go to SmackDown. But they don't fucking do that. They make it sound like this match is already set in stone when it isn't. God, this is fucking horrible booking for these women, and somebody needs to fix it.
Speaking of break, I hope Asuka's 100% by the time WrestleMania rolls around, because you know Nia Jax left the Empress of Tomorrow in a pile of wreckage. And I know Nia would love to get her hands on Asuka once again, but Asuka's gonna regret her victory from last night because at WrestleMania I cannot wait to finish the job. You know what I find really funny, Asuka? That you just boldly prance out here like you're 100% healthy. Because last night Nia humiliated and crushed you.
Yeah, and you and Mickie James went through the Elimination Chamber, so you're not 100% healthy either, so I don't know what your point is.
Nia Jax deserves to be in that championship match, and you know it.
Bullshit!
Oh, you want clarification? Fine. Asuka, I know your
Racist.
English is not great, but your body language is saying very differently. You know, maybe you should wipe that smile off your face before she does.
And of course, this was Nia Jax coming out to lay out Asuka.
100% after being put through the barricade last night.
Alexa Bliss mentioned
Look at
finishing this
this.
job.
Look at this power.
And Asuka again, look at Asuka.
Asuka got a triangle locked in.
So she has Nia Jax in a triangle choke, and then you have Alexa Bliss and Mickie James coming back into the ring to beat up on Asuka for a 3-on-1 attack. So again, Mickie James, just last week until the end of that match between Banks, Bayley, and James versus Absolution and Alexa Bliss, was on the babyface side, and now all of a sudden, as soon as that match was over, she's a heel again. Oh, this ass backwards booking is just so fucking asinine, it's not even funny.
Yeah, but because of that, Asuka prone for the attack.
And of course, who comes out to make the save? Who else is there but Bayley and Sasha Banks?
Coming to the aid of Asuka.
They come out, they brawl with everyone, and of course Nia Jax comes out and comes back up and lays them both out. So what does this lead to? A 6-fucking-woman tag match again and again and again. Not Absolution this time, which was interesting because they weren't on the show at all for once and forever. Really didn't give a fuck about this match. I did say that they did tease tension between Banks and Bayley. Again, Mickie James is heel again, just like that. She was told... Bayley... This was the only part of this match that we was really talking about was that Sasha Banks was in the ring towards the end of the match. Bayley is Asuka's down selling her part of the match. Bayley's in the on getting ready to look like she's about ready to tag in. Sasha Banks goes to tag her in, and Bayley just jumps down, leaving Sasha Banks to the wolves. Eventually, Sasha does tag in Asuka. Bayley does run in to help Asuka, but doesn't help Sasha Banks, which Corey Graves is just all happy and elated that these girls are all going up against each other. Match ends with an armbar with a little bit of a leg tweak on Mickie James for the tap out. She winners of Bayley, Banks, and Asuka. Banks is sitting there in the corner beside on the floor by the the by the steel steps when Bayley just looks at her and just backs away and walks up the ramp like nothing matters. I so wish they would have just had Asuka grab a mic, and I hope they do it next week, but I guess we're probably going to wait till Fastlane, which if they want to do it that way, whatever, but this needs to end. There's no reason for them to just assume it's going to be Asuka versus Bayley versus Alexa Bliss. This is another reason why I did not want the Women's Royal Rumble, because they were going to make this, especially when I kind of figured they were going to make this winner gets to choose their champion, the championship of their choosing. I kind of figured they were going to make this pretty much a joke, which they have. This is making the Women's Royal Rumble more and more pointless. You have a woman win the match, and she doesn't even get to choose, like right off the bat. Oh, wait till the Elimination Chamber over, Asuka. Maybe Alexa Bliss won't be champion. Let's see what happens then. Oh, then after the Elimination Chamber's over, even at the Elimination Chamber, oh, it's Bayley, it's Sasha. No, I'm sorry. The week after the Royal Rumble, Kurt Angle made it sound like Asuka was going up against Alexa Bliss. The title graphic, though, said if Nia Jax won, she would be part of the title match of Asuka's choosing. And yet they didn't want to recognize that. They still make it sound like, oh, she's going to stay on Raw. No, you dumb fuck. She hasn't made that decision yet, so stop with that shit. Next up, we have John Cena, who is here to address his path to WrestleMania. As I say, who cares?
Last night I failed. And in the moment of failure, and the atmosphere and the finality of it all and the audience, I was immediately rushed into a room and thrown in front of a microphone, and I felt demoralized. Trust me, I know where I'm at, and I've said it before. A person's character is not judged when they ride the wave of success, when everyone chants their name and you want to be their friend. No, your character is put to the test when your back is against the wall. And for me, that time is now. I spent 5 minutes last night, feeling sorry for myself, and then right after that, I began to move forward. My last words last night were, I will figure it out, and that is my road to WrestleMania. I thought it would be the Royal Rumble. I failed. I didn't give up. I thought it would be the Elimination Chamber. I failed. And for 5 minutes, I thought it was over. And every single one of you can relate to this, because this is what's difficult about failure. The disappointment is on you. It is your fault, and you go through failure alone. But failure has made me who I am today. Failure gives you two choices. You stay down or you get up. Well, I'm up, and I am fired up because I have figured it out.
Yeah, and the challenge everybody expected is about to be laid down, but and big but on this one.
Just plain old do something that I should have done a long time ago.
Yeah, about 4, maybe 5, maybe 6 years ago, when it mattered.
That is, put out a WrestleMania challenge. Undertaker!
The crowd goes absolutely wild, and I'm thinking to myself, it's 2014. Undertaker's undefeated streak is not broken, is not intact. So why would I want to see this match 4 years too late when Brock Lesnar broke that streak? The Wyatt match, the who did he face after Wyatt? Shane, the Roman match. All those matches were irrelevant because Undertaker was beaten by Brock Lesnar, and then of course by Roman Reigns last year. But, and I say a very big but about this one, because John Cena has more to say.
You want WrestleMania? That is WrestleMania!
4 years ago.
And that match is not happening.
Oh, he just pulled heel. He broke everybody's heart who cared, and I did not.
I don't make the matches. And as obvious as this seems, I've been told that that match is not happening because that match, once again, is impossible. You see, I told you, all of you understand. Now you all understand the disappointment of failure. And I can stay down or I can get my ass up, and I'm in the getting up business. So I'm here tonight to say my road through WrestleMania goes straight through SmackDown. As a free agent, I will go to SmackDown Live tomorrow night, not to beg for some pity handout, no. It is to do whatever it takes to hopefully earn a spot at WrestleMania.
Anybody with a fucking brain knows what's coming next. We all know what's coming. I knew it. I knew it from the minute I had a feeling. I had a feeling when he started talking about how he has to get to WrestleMania. I pretty much think I said it on one of my Raw or SmackDown reviews from last month or earlier this month. John Cena is going to SmackDown tomorrow, and he's going to try and challenge Shinsuke Nakamura for Shinsuke Nakamura's spot at WrestleMania. And it is going to piss me the fuck off if they actually have Shinsuke Nakamura, who earned his right to WrestleMania, or if Shane or Daniel Bryan are jackasses and actually come out and say that match is going to happen at Fastlane. And if John Cena wins, it's either A, John Cena takes Shinsuke Nakamura's spot, or B, John Cena makes it a triple threat match. Either one of those options is unacceptable, Vince. Gee, Vince, you see that line of fans over there buying WrestleMania tickets, buying WrestleMania merch? Gee, look at all those guys and gals and kids and adults excited for AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Oh, they're leaving. They're leaving. They're all leaving because you just took away the match that everybody was most looking forward to. That's how it's going to be if you fucking screw this shit up, Vince. Do not even think about pulling this shit. I'd rather him come in and actually make a challenge to Bobby Roode, to the winner of the match between Bobby Roode and Randy Orton at Fastlane, goes on to WrestleMania to face John Cena, only to be interrupted by Jinder Mahal, and then at Fastlane it's Jinder Mahal versus John Cena. The winner goes to WrestleMania to face Bobby Roode for the United States Championship. I'd rather have that because it keeps him away from the WWE Championship match. Now, this does not mean that it's going to be John Cena. Like, this does not mean it's not going to be John Cena versus The Undertaker. This is just him probably swerving everybody because that's how WWE likes to do. But I guarantee you he's going to come to SmackDown tomorrow and he's going to pretty much goad or talk Shinsuke Nakamura into giving him a shot at WrestleMania for his rightfully earned championship opportunity against AJ Styles or one of the four other men in the title match at Fastlane. Watch it happen. You heard it here, and I'm pretty sure I said this once before. And don't fucking do it, Vince. Just leave. Like, quite honestly, I don't want to see Shinsuke Nakamura on SmackDown until 2 days after Fastlane, when they need to start building towards WrestleMania for SmackDown, because AJ Styles is not set for WrestleMania right now until he gets to Fastlane. Leave Shinsuke Nakamura off of SmackDown. Don't make any fucking matches for him. He doesn't need a match at Fastlane. Keep him off SmackDown. Have John Cena do something else. Have The Undertaker, if it's going to be John Cena and The Undertaker at WrestleMania, because John Cena's like, that match is impossible. Undertaker coming back and says, it's only impossible if I say so, and since I want this match, it's going to happen. But, like I said, 4 years too late, I don't give a damn. Just keep John Cena away from Shinsuke Nakamura and do the right thing, Vince. God, this is fucking retarded how they're doing this shit. This is what happens when Vince McMahon has the tunnel vision of Brock versus Roman. Everything else goes to shit, and everything else is bad booking. Roman Reigns had a pretty good promo tonight, and we'll get to that later. But next up was Bray Wyatt. It was supposed to be Bray Wyatt versus Heath Slater. It wasn't even a match. Heath Slater pretty much got destroyed by Bray Wyatt with Rhino as well. Match never got started. Bray Wyatt does cut a promo on Matt Hardy and why this Great War is not over, which most of us probably didn't think was going to happen anyway.
Look what you made me do. You made me hurt these innocent men. This is your fault, Matt Hardy. You led them to slaughter. Great War is far from over, my friend. You will face me again.
He looks at WrestleMania, but he doesn't actually say anything about it.
But this time, I will make sure that your woken eyes stay shut forever. I'm coming for you, Matt. I'm coming for you. Run.
So this feud had a lot of potential if Matt Hardy was actually given creative control on how this show was going to go, but we all knew that wasn't going to happen. Unfortunately, a lot of people remember Broken Matt Hardy in Impact Wrestling being a great character. He wasn't a singles wrestler after him and his brother fought in the Final Deletion, and a little bit further after that, it was mostly Jeff and Matt and Brother Nero. For 75 to 80 to 90% of the run of Broken Matt Hardy, it was Broken Matt versus Brother Nero for a good bit of while. Swanton beats the hell out of I believe it was Al Snow and a couple of his guys at the time. He swantons himself through a table. He pretty much becomes Broken, and those two are a tag team from then on out until they leave Impact Wrestling. So this gimmick, for the majority of its time in Impact Wrestling, was a tag team gimmick. So there is talk about Jeff probably coming back for WrestleMania if he's able to. So maybe we'll see Brother Nero after, towards WrestleMania, and we can have Matt and Jeff at WrestleMania as Woken and Brother Nero, so we can at least have this the way it should be. And maybe Bray Wyatt was something, I don't know, but we will have to wait and see. So yeah, I don't know what they're doing with this, but yeah. Miz had a lot of fun tonight, if you want to call it that. He had 2 matches. He does come out because right after this, they're like, well, The Miz is coming to the ring to find out who he's going to wrestle at WrestleMania. That did not actually get set tonight, but it's pretty obvious what they're doing. Here's Miz.
Stars for granted. Understand, in 62 days, I will become the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time.
Who the fuck
As big a star
cares?
as I am in this ring, I'm even bigger out there. My shine My star shines brighter than a supernova. I'm the anchor of the Marine movie franchise. I'm the star, along with my beautiful, gorgeous, sexy, pregnant wife, Maurice, on the new television sensation, Ms. and Mrs. I will say that again, and you will cheer. The new television sensation, Ms. and Mrs.
Are you really anyone gonna really watch that? Because I'm not.
Those booing, you'll be watching it anyway, so I don't care. All these accolades, and I'm still treated like any other superstar.
Welcome to the
Hell, I'm
WWE
treated
2018
worse.
The
I don't
Miz.
even have merchandise. Go up there. Look for my merchandise. Look for my t-shirts.
Speaking of merchandise, this Saturday on Unscripted, we will be talking about a certain Raw superstar has finally dethroned Rusev Day from the top of the WWE merchandise list, and it's not the superstar you think it is. Make sure to check out Unscripted this week, and on Saturday, make sure to go check back at last week's Unscripted where we talked about a whole heck of a lot of things. The real reason why Jeff Jarrett is being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and much, much more.
Look for anything. Look at the promotional pictures that WWE puts out. This face, better looking than all of them, by the way. This face isn't on any of them. I should be going to the main event of WrestleMania. But yet, Kurt Angle forced me to start the Elimination Chamber match with two men who shouldn't have been there in the first place. Kurt Angle handed Finn Balor and Seth Rollins, handed them an opportunity that they didn't deserve, yet I was punished for winning my qualification match with ease. I am sick of being taken for granted. I am sick of the disrespect. And I don't care what happens to all the participants in the Elimination Chamber. I know that my dream will live on at WrestleMania because I have this. And I want you all to take a really good look at this. This is the most prestigious and honorable title in all of WWE.
No, I think AJ Styles has that title right now.
And since I have this title, this prestigious title, I walk into Kurt Angle's office. I say, Kurt, I want to know what the Intercontinental Champion is doing at WrestleMania. Kurt Angle says this: Miz, your opponent tonight might determine who you face at WrestleMania. I know, I said the same thing. Might? I have carried Monday Night Raw for the past year.
In your
On
dreams,
my
The
back.
Miz.
I have made this title more relevant than the Universal Championship. And you're going to tell me...
All I had to do when Brock Lesnar's not there half the time.
Might? I am the Miz. I have been here for 12 years.
Who cares?
And might is all you're going to give me. Well, understand, whoever comes out is going to get a beating, and I don't care who it is. So who is it?
It would be Seth Rollins. It would be Seth Rollins versus The Miz. Just for the heck of it, because you know WWE likes to have you wondering who it might be. And the fact that it is might, that is kind of like stupid, but well, you'll see later on. The match starts and they lock up, hip toss by Seth Rollins. This is like, this and the next match are like the only two I actually really go into detail because the rest of the show is just garbage, hot garbage. Penalty kick missed by Rollins as Miz gets out of the way. Rollins and the Miz duck each other in the corner. Miz gloats and then he's laid out with a clothesline. Miz ends up over the top rope. Rollins looks to dive on Miz and Miztourage, but they all bail. Miz charges from behind Axel and Dallas, who's playing the bodyguards, which you know that's what they're supposed to do. He ends up eating a fist. Rollins gets Miz back into the ring. Bo distracts Rollins, who gets sent flying into the barricade. We come back and Miz got Rollins in a headlock. Miz with the yes kicks, which are still so god awful. They are just so bad. I wish he would, like, I'm okay with, like, if you want to be a little bit soft, like, not everyone does strong style, but these kicks are just awful. Every time Daniel Bryan would hit one of these kicks, it looked like he meant it. The first kick, maybe the second one, but when he starts doing them 3, 4, 5, it's like it's like less and less and less. Unlike Daniel Bryan, who is trained, I believe he trained training kickboxing or something like that. He's some kind of judo or something when it comes to kicking. The Miz is not, and the Miz really needs to stop using these. Rollins, he does do the wind up and misses the final one. Rollins rolls him up for a 2 count. Chops by Rollins. Rollins end up tossed over the top rope to the outside. Back from break and both are trading blows. Rollins sent to the outside, but leaping clotheslines. Sling Blade and then a blockbuster for a 2 count. I missed something there. Rollins goes out the top. Miz rolls away from Rollins. Rollins gets draped on the second rope, then hit with a snap DDT for a 2 count. Drop kick by the Miz in the corner, then another one, then the running jumping clothesline. Miz up top gets crushed by Rollins. Superplex attempted, blocked, headbutted to Rollins. Rollins gets right back up, hits a superplex into a Falcon Arrow. I wanted it to end there. That is by far one of the coolest combinations I think I've seen. He does it a little bit too much now. I think, like, I was the Miz and he's the Intercontinental Champion, okay, but like if he's in a match against some scrub, he shouldn't pull it out, which he hasn't been in a while. But I would love to see him just hit this move one time, especially when it's a superplex, which this one is. And no, anybody who thinks when the competitor who's sitting on top rope, but the other competitor is on the middle rope and they suplex them, that is not a superplex. A superplex is when the guy on the end of the corner is being suplexed off the rope when the guy who suplexed him is also on the top rope. That is a superplex. The other one is just a suplex from the middle rope. Plain and simple. Super kick going for the stomp, which they want to call it the stomp. Corey Graves calls it the blackout. Somebody give it a name. Call it the curb stomp or call it the blackout. Make up your mind. He is grabbed by Axel, finally turned into a roll up Rollins with a suicide dive and onto Axel and Dallas. He sends Miz to the outside, then he hits a suicide dive on all 3 guys. Revolution knee, which Corey Graves started calling him that, so I'm just going to call it that, to the Miz. Then a frog splash, and this was cool. He hits the Revolution knee. The Miz is down in this one corner. He's a little bit close to this one corner. Like he's like in this corner. He could just climb up and hit a normal frog splash. He goes to the other side of the ring, gets up and hits a frog splash like 75 feet, like 75% of the way away from the Miz for the 1, 2, 3. And Seth Rollins is your winner. After the match, Balor comes out and leaves as Balor, and Rollins leaves as Balor into the ring. Apparently, when we come back from break, Miz versus Finn Balor is made by Kurt Angle. Anybody who doesn't realize where this is going, it's going to be Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins versus The Miz for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. I'm okay with this match because it is hopefully with Seth Rollins or, and I mean this big time, or Finn Balor walking out as Intercontinental Champion. I will not be mad at all. Before this match gets underway, the Miztourage just beat down Finn Balor before the match can really go anywhere. Balor Club comes out to help Balor out. Miz gets back up and Kurt Angle on the Titantron says, Miz, you're going to be facing the Miz. I told you you're having a match against Finn Balor tonight. Anyway, or you won't be going to WrestleMania. Everyone else is banned from ringside. Miz with the running jumping clotheslines, then a DDT for a 2 count. Miz all over Balor, now kicks to the face for a 2 count. Balor back in the match. Miz gets tossed into the ring steps. Balor kicks to the tries to go for a pin but gets kicked in the ribs. Miz suplex for a 2 count. Miz gets another snap DDT, that nice little under knee, and he just does his whipping snap DDT. I call it a snap DDT, I don't know what they actually call it. Nice little DDT. Balor fights back, running knee to Balor for a 2 count, which was the, if anyone knows what the running knee is, it's the move that Daniel Bryan debuted at SummerSlam a couple years ago when he won the WWE Championship. Corey Graves chimed in, it's like, that's the best variation of that move I've ever seen. Taking a little shot at Daniel Bryan, which he does every time Miz does the yes kicks, but he calls them the it kicks because, you know, he wants to just be a Miz fanboy, but whatever. Miz back in control of the match. We see Rollins in the back watching the match. Overhead kick to the Miz. Both men are down. Balor takes control and he tosses Miz into the corner. Then an overhead kick again. 19-16 for a 2 count, which I don't know who came up with the name of that move, but okay.
I'm not a website.
I can deal with that. Finally reversed into a 2 count. Oh, the skull crushing finale was reversed into a 2 count, into a roll up for a 2 count. Combo neck breaker by the Miz for a 2. The it kicks, as they like to be called, or the yes kicks, whatever you want to go with, from Balor. Balor actually hits a couple yes kicks himself, which Michael Cole just lovingly said, and these are the world famous yes kicks by Balor. And then Corey Graves is like, and he stole these from the Miz. You both stole them from Daniel Bryan, who I'm pretty sure stole them from somebody else, so whatever. Then he drop kicked the Miz for a 2 count. Balor and Miz outside. Miz driven in the barricade from Balor. Sling blade, drop kick, and Balor with the coup de grace for the 3 count. Your winner is Finn Balor. We pop to the back. Seth Rollins is still watching this match when Renee Young comes up and asks him about Finn Balor winning this match.
Seth, what do you make of Finn Balor following your footsteps and beating The Miz tonight?
To be honest, Renee, I don't really know what he's trying to prove. Upstaging me or something? He comes out, beats a guy that I just beat. That's not how you make your mark. That's not how you prove you're the man. You want to make a mark and prove you're the man, you do what I did last week. You last 65 minutes in the gauntlet match. That's how you make this place Monday Night Rollins.
With a very impressive victory tonight, but last night you did come up short in the chamber, so where exactly does that leave you for WrestleMania?
Yeah, you know what? I did come up short last night.
Why couldn't they just cut Balor's music back here?
One thing I've learned over the years is that there's more than one road to WrestleMania, and if history is any indicator, I know how to pave my way to WrestleMania. I want the Miz and the Intercontinental Championship, and I want it at WrestleMania.
So we are going to get a triple threat match. They haven't announced it yet, but that's obvious. And yes, if Seth Rollins does win the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania, he will join Dean Ambrose, who did it first, then Roman Reigns, and he will become the 3rd and final member of the Shield to win the Grand Slam Championship. Moving on here, we were supposed to have a Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns confrontation, but things did not happen like that. I don't know what happened, but I'm pretty sure Brock Lesnar was in the back and they just decided to go with this to try and get pretty much tonight was them trying to get Roman Reigns to not be booed anymore. And I ain't stupid. I'm not a moron. As soon as Roman Reigns came out tonight, I knew they somehow got the boos to be quieted down.
You guys want to know the truth? They're not going to like it back there, but I'm going to say it anyways. Brock Lesnar's not here tonight. Up until about 30 minutes ago, I thought Brock was going to be here, but something happened or the other and he didn't show. And nobody will say this back there, but I'm going to say it. Brock Lesnar is an entitled piece of crap who hides behind his contract.
Like I said, they're doing this to try and get people on Roman's side.
From WrestleMania, and the Universal Champion is not here today. We were in Vegas last night. Brock was in Vegas. He wasn't at the Elimination Chamber. Guess where he was? He was running around the strip taking pictures with Dana White and the UFC on social media. want to know why? Because he doesn't respect me, he doesn't respect any of you, and he doesn't respect anybody in that locker room.
Not
And I'm
a
sick
secret,
of it.
Roman.
We're all sick of it. They all know it back there. We all know it. Every single week, me and them boys run across this world and we bust our ass. And Brock just shows up whenever he wants to, when the money's right or the city's right. But we don't care. It doesn't matter how many people show up, how big the town is, I'll be there. Because I said I'll be there. And Brock and Paul, don't worry, they're gonna come out here and say, we're businessmen. Well, guess what? I was born in this business. My family and my bloodline is this business. And I was taught at an early age that there's a fine line between business and respect. And I'll say this right now. I don't respect Brock Lesnar. And I damn sure don't fear that.
He said bitch, but you know, it's on YouTube, so they're gonna beat that out. I don't give a shit. I'll say bitch anytime. And yes, don't let it be fooled. I'll get to that in a second.
I think I've said enough now. I'm gonna go and head to the back, take my ass chewing like a man, because unlike some people, I actually care and respect this place.
Don't let him fool you. This is, by far, the last-ditch effort to get the fans on Roman Reigns' side. Bring out Real. If WWE did not want him to say this, it wouldn't be on YouTube, plain and simple. It would not be on YouTube at all. So the fact that he even said that and said, oh, well, they ain't gonna like this. Yeah, it's on YouTube, so I'm not buying it, Roman. I'm not buying it. So, Titus Worldwide versus The Bar for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Why is this even happening? These two teams fought last night. The Bar won fair and square. There was no fuck finish. There was no screw up at all. They won They won their match last night. Apparently, after the match was done, they went onto social media, shot their mouths off. Titus O'Neil went and said, "Hey, we could beat you anytime. We've beaten you a couple times too. We have your number as well." And then Kurt Angle was like, "Well, do you guys feel that way? Go have fun with it outside. Go have at it in a 2-hour 3 falls match." Didn't give a fuck about this match. The first fall ended in 30 seconds when Cesaro distracted Titus O'Neil and he gets hit with a bro kick. 1, 2, 3. The Bar up 1-0. After a little bit back and forth and a little bit of a match, double white noise to Apollo, and The Bar retain the tag team titles. Useless filler match for the Monday Night Raw. Isn't it just funny how last week we had a 2-hour, about 2 hours dedicated to one single match with the Gauntlet match, and that was the best 2 hours of Monday Night Raw in about 2 years. And then we come this week and we have filler after filler after filler after filler. So the 2 hours we had last week, that was great. They didn't carry that over, and they just made this a fucking laughing stock. I saw some people were saying this Raw was off the track, or off the track or something. This was a train wreck. This thing was this fell off the cliff from the start. They were at the top of the cliff when Monday Night Raw started. Ronda Rousey, who comes in and was the main event of the show, was not going to save this match. Stephanie McMahon crying like a bitch to make sure Ronda Rousey didn't destroy her. Would not save this show. Nothing they could do from this point on would save this show. This show was a dumpster fire from go. After the match, they cut a promo on everyone they've beaten. They say there's no one left to beat, so they won't be having a match at WrestleMania. No Revival, no Balor Club, no nobody. So they're setting up for them to face the Revival, I'm pretty sure, at WrestleMania, where the Revival will beat The Bar. And then I believe that's going to be Sheamus' last match, because as I said last night for my review and results show, make sure to go check that out. He looks like his spinal stenosis or neck injury is really starting to catch up with him. Elias versus Braun Strowman. I don't even know where the fuck this happened. They just had Braun Strowman call Elias' singing poison, like some kind of like poison or venom or something. I was like, ugh. Move on with this. Who fucking cares? Braun beats down Elias from the joy of the match. Elias tries to escape under the ring. Braun steps on his foot, drags him out. Elias gets a fire extinguisher and in the face of Braun Strowman for a DQ. Braun Strowman wins. Post-match, Elias continues to beat down until Braun Strowman catches him with the right hand. Elias tries to run for his life, but Braun, I don't even know where I typed Roman in, that's weird. Braun stops him. He goes to move Elias over to the announce table, was going to put a running power slam through the announce table, but Elias rakes Strowman's eyes and runs away, but Strowman follows him. They get to the back towards the parking garage area, and a limo shows up as Elias runs off, and Strowman leaves, saying, I ain't done with you yet, trying to get his eyes right again. Asuka versus Nia Jax next week. So, we still won't know. They are going to drag this out till Fastlane. We will not know until Fastlane who she's going to face. Basically, what's going to happen at Fastlane, and I'm pretty sure this is going to happen, Charlotte's going to win. Asuka's, like the mask Asuka wins, will show up on the Titantron. Asuka will show up at Fastlane, and Asuka will make it known that she is going to face Charlotte at WrestleMania. Hopefully that's what they're going to be doing, because Asuka versus Alexa Bliss is not a match I want to see. Then, and even after that, what are you going to do? You're not going to have Ronda Rousey and Asuka on the same brand as you go. So, I don't know what they're going to do with that. It is getting kind of annoying. It's like, you come on to this show, you hear them say, Asuka will be facing Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania. And it's so asinine. Before we get to the Stephanie McMahon and Triple H thing, and calling out Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey to get this cleared air, which was the end of the show. I just like, again, the John Cena thing is going to piss me off, and I will have more on that tomorrow if they do exactly what I think they're going to do. And I've had this feeling for about a month. This entire month, I've just had a feeling that, of course, we all knew who was going to win the Elimination Chamber. And I was like, well, John Cena is going to come out. He's going to come out. He's going to go. He is a free agent, which I think is the worst thing ever. Someone actually put on Twitter tonight, so John Cena is not getting paid right now because he's a free agent. Because, as you know, in other sports, in actual sports, basketball, baseball, hockey, football, soccer, if you're a free agent, you're not getting paid. So why does John Cena get to be a free agent on SmackDown and Raw? It's so fucking stupid. So, there's that. What's going to happen to the tag team division? I don't know. So, Stephanie and Triple H come out. They do not have it up on YouTube yet, if they're going to put it up at all. They do come out, and they talk about how Kurt Angle was spouting off at the mouth, and that he was like everything he said last night was not true, and that they didn't everything went wrong because Kurt Angle did this, Kurt Angle did that. They call Kurt Angle out. Ronda Rousey's music plays. She just makes a beeline to the ring. Kurt comes out after Ronda and tells Ronda this is the best decision she ever made in signing with WWE. Ronda says she pretty much says, I have never been slapped before in my life, and I'm not going to be disrespected, and I am nobody's property. Kurt says I need this job, so I got to do what I got to do, and I lied last night. Which, if anybody believes Kurt Angle saying he lied is the truth, you are a damn fool, because everyone knows that's exactly how those two felt, what he said last night. Ronda is asking, and Kurt pretty much sits there and he just apologizes. Stephanie comes in. Triple H didn't say anything in this, but I don't know, pretty much just setting up Triple H, Stephanie versus Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey, because they could not get The Rock, and I don't think anybody expected The Rock, even though a lot of people want to see The Rock versus Triple H one more time, but you're not going to get that because he's the highest paid actor in all of Hollywood right now, and no film studio would want to work with The Rock if he was going to go back and wrestle for WWE. So that's that. Stephanie tries to leave. Ronda tells her, well, everything's settled except for that slap. Stephanie comes back into the ring. Ronda Rousey pretty much tells her, if you don't apologize to me, I'm going to rip your arm out of your socket. Stephanie looks at Triple H. She just thinks about it. Walks up to this. This was just beautiful, and it's something you got to go back and watch. She pretty much sits there and tries to beg for her life. Pretty much, she just like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do it. I just got a little heated. You put my husband through a table. I'm sorry. Well done, we're all good. And Triple H and Stephanie go to leave. Stephanie's out of the ring. Kurt Angle, for some reason, walked up to see them out of the ring, and Triple H decks him. Just plain out, cold cock decks Kurt Angle, and those two leave as the Raw goes off the air with Ronda Rousey checking on Kurt Angle. Now, and I will say this, Ronda had better presentation tonight when it came to her mic skills. She did feel a little bit more natural. She didn't have the butterflies anymore. I've never been in a WWE ring. I've never been in that big spotlight with 15, 20,000 people wanting to chant your name or boo you or anything else. So I don't know how it felt at the Elimination Chamber for her to walk in there for the first time under the WWE banner. So she did not smile at all. She was in I'm going to kill you if you don't do what I say mode. Pretty much. She was like, she pretty much made it known that if you fuck with me again, you're going to die. Plain and simple. And this is all going to lead to Stephanie McMahon weeks and years and months and decade of everybody wanting to see her get her comeuppance. It's all going to happen at WrestleMania. And they would be a damn fool if that match between Triple H, Stephanie, Ronda Rousey, and Kurt Angle, which is most likely going to be Kurt Angle, does not end with Ronda Rousey pretty much hurting Stephanie McMahon and pretty much dislocating her shoulder, or her arm and shoulder. In kayfabe, I don't think she'd actually do it, but at least make it look like she's dislocating her shoulder. Then this would be a terrible waste of time. If they do this and Stephanie somehow comes out on top over Ronda Rousey, what was the fucking point of bringing her in? But this is WWE, and they're probably going to do that, with Stephanie will probably come out on top, just to give the McMahons another shot at their fucking ego. What's going to happen with the rest of Monday Night Raw? We are going to have, of course, Brock versus Roman, Seth versus Finn versus Miz for the Intercontinental Championship, The Bar versus The Revival, and Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax. That is your titles, all Raw titles that are going to be on the line. What are we going to see for Woken Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt? They're going to probably have some kind of House of Horrors type match from the House Hardy at the Hardy compound. I don't know. Maybe they'll do something where they start at House Hardy and then they make themselves back to into New Orleans, even though House Hardy is in North Carolina and they're in New Orleans. Damn it, Vince! Why couldn't you have this close to the House Hardy? I don't know what we're going to do with Braun Strowman, though, because you have the Intercontinental title is taken up. Unless you're going to have Braun Strowman team up with somebody and take on The Bar, which I highly doubt that. This guy, I don't know what they're going to do with him. They had him look as strong as can be until Roman slayed the big monster at the Elimination Chamber. So I don't know where they're going to go with him, what they can do. They didn't really, they hit him and Elias. I don't want to see him and Elias do something. Maybe the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is where they're going to put him. If you're going to have, and that's another thing, they talk about how they want to make a bigger emphasis on the Andre Battle Royal this year. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal cannot be on the pre-show then. It has to be on the main card. Which means title match from each show is going to be bumped. Probably, well, at least the Raw Women's title match, if it's going to be Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax, that's going to be on the pre-show. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, unless it's going to be a squash match, which, quite honestly, if it is going to be Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss, it's going to probably be a squash match. So anybody who is a fan of Alexa Bliss, that's all it's going to be done. And, of course, you're going to have Nia Jax walk out as your champion. And then eventually, probably at SummerSlam, Ronda Rousey will win that title. Just saying. Now, when it comes to Ronda Rousey, we know what she's going to be doing for WrestleMania. So she's probably going to be seen on every most, if not all, of the Monday Night Raws on the road to WrestleMania because they want to build this match between her and Kurt Angle, most likely, versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. So the question when it comes to Ronda Rousey is not what happens between now and WrestleMania and at WrestleMania. It's what happens after. What are they going to do? How often are we going to see her on Monday Night Raw? How many matches is she going to wrestle? Is she going to be on house shows? She says she wants to be like everyone else on the main roster, which in my opinion is the dumbest thing you could probably ever say, because if they make you like everybody else, then you are like everybody else, and you become irrelevant like that. By the time SummerSlam comes around, Ronda Rousey will just be Ronda Rousey. I don't even know if that's her actual real name. Let me look that up. So, I don't know what they're going to do with her after. It's not what's going to happen at WrestleMania, because we all know what's going to happen with her. It's like, how are they going to use her after Mania? So, a lot of more questions left than answers in the road to WrestleMania for Monday Night Raw. I don't know what we're going to see, when we're going to see. We still have 6 weeks to go, 5 weeks after this before we get to WrestleMania. So they have a lot of time for Monday Night Raw to get built. John Cena is going to SmackDown tomorrow. I'll probably have, if they do what I think they're going to do, I'm probably going to have a lot more to say tomorrow than I will tonight, because I am just not John Cena versus The Undertaker is probably the way they're going to go. If this match is not going to happen, it is legit that John Cena and The Undertaker is not happening, and what he said tonight was true, I don't know what they're going to do. And that's the thing. If this is true and we're not going to see Undertaker versus John Cena, then Shinsuke Nakamura is not going to WrestleMania. I'm telling you right now, Shinsuke Nakamura will probably be in the Battle Royal. He'll lose his spot to John Cena, and we'll have John Cena win number 17. This is Vince McMahon's backup plan if Undertaker versus John Cena is not to happen. But that does not mean it's not going to happen. I can see if they have this match between John Cena and Shinsuke Nakamura, the bells toll, and John Cena gets beaten, like John Cena gets taken out by The Undertaker, or John Cena gets distracted by The Undertaker, hit with a Kinshasa, and Shinsuke Nakamura goes to WrestleMania. John Cena now has an actual concrete thing. But we'll have to see what happens. And that is your Raw review for February 27th, 2018. We'll be back here for SmackDown, the final night of February. Man, we're already through February after tomorrow. What a year it's been so far. Then, of course, we'll be here for March 1st for NXT, and then this Saturday for Unscripted. Make sure to stay tuned for all that, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Find me on Twitter on The Thoughts. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I am going to try and get to 100 subscribers in no time, and I will see you guys tomorrow.